How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Casual Fan Podcast. I'm Matthew, your host, and today we got one of my great friends, Mr. Clint. How you doing, Clint?
Good man. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, thanks for joining. You are our inaugural guest, pretty much. Um, wow. So should we just get right into the NHL chat, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, let's do it.
So we had the trade deadline. It's come and gone. So we've had a few games to kind of see what these players are doing. And are you impressed? What are your thoughts on these guys?
Um, to be honest, man, I just been paying attention to Vegas.
To
And
Vegas. Ooh,
yeah, man, I got a soft spot for Vegas.
yeah, I know you do. They're struggling right now.
They are. But I
They're,
mean, they're sitting on that last wild card spot and they won on Tuesday.
yeah, they did.
So, pretty happy about that. And then they are playing Calgary tonight. So,
Yeah, tie game
you
right
know,
now. A little 1-1. Maybe if Mark Stone was actually playing and not quote unquote injured, LTIR, maybe they're
right.
not
Well,
fighting for a wild card.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's funny because, there's the whole thing with, Vegas and, the cap
Them
and
being
heading into the
cheaters, yeah.
playoffs. I don't know, man. It's as long as these injuries are legit. I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I feel like they'd have to, right? You got your NHL doctors who are also evaluating it just to make sure. But,
Right.
it all just seems a little bit fishy that, oh, now all of a sudden Stone's injured. And, you know, what's the difference of being injured game 82 as opposed to playoff game one, right? And that's kind
Right.
of what the conversation is like. If you're healthy enough to play 3 days later after the regular season ends, you're probably fine to play in the regular season at the end. So it's just kind of like you just see a lot of teams starting to manipulate this now where I feel, earlier on, it was more of an honor system, right? So it's
Yeah.
just interesting, and I think they have mentioned NHLPA is going to look into this because I guess fans are getting fed up with it because now Vegas is what like $17 million over the salary cap, so they'll have a
Yeah.
$130 million team for the playoffs versus the Canucks who are taking the regular approach and they'll only have 82 million. So it's interesting to see, right? Where is it really fair if they're allowed to do this?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Vegas fans, don't care. I mean, in their eyes, they're going to say that, their team is doing whatever it takes to win.
Yeah,
That being said, obviously you got to assume that everything, checks out and, it would be kind of fishy if Mark Stone was available, game one of the playoffs, but didn't play any of the regular season games leading up to it.
yeah,
Um, but I mean, like, you know, it's you got to make the moves. You got to do what you got to do to put your team in the best situation to win.
yeah.
And it's an edgy move. A lot of eyes, we're on the Vegas Golden Knights now, and it'll be curious to see if the league does anything about it, and if they do, like, what do you do? Like, is there a salary cap that you bring into the postseason? Is that the solution for this? What do you think?
Uh, I think you have to. I think your team should be salary cap compliant in the playoffs, and that way you're keeping it at
Really?
a level playing field.
Yeah. Like, who's the other team? Tampa. I think it was Tampa was the other team.
Tampa Bay did it a couple times where Kucherov didn't play any of
Kucherov.
the
Yeah.
regular season. And clearly the guy was healthy, right? I think he almost scored 30 points that year. He led the team in scoring, so he's healthy, right? And do I want to say teams are faking it? No, but I'm all for a hot take. So
Right. Right. Yeah.
I,
Yeah. Yeah. Stir the pot a little bit.
yeah, stir the pot, get people looking into it a little bit more. And I think, Chicago was the most famous one for doing it when Patrick Kane was injured with, I think it was a back injury, and they picked up a couple
Right.
guys and they did it. So now you see the teams following that style. where they're like, oh, this is how
Right.
you manipulate it, right? And all these front offices are so smart, and they're like just figuring out any which way to get the competitive advantage. But at the same time, I think hockey was for so long such a game of integrity that it's kind of leaving, in my opinion. And
It's getting
this is
greasy,
just
man.
it's getting greasy, it's getting slimy, there's drama. It's probably great for the league and great for growth, but it's weird to see that whole dynamic kind of shift where, honor of the game and needs to be played the right way to, hey, we're going to stab you behind the back and you're not, and obviously you won't even know about it. And we're going to keep doing it until they
Right.
change it. So, I mean, that's Vegas, man. Expansion team rats. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I
Now,
wish the Canucks were doing it,
yeah,
but
the Canucks, nobody wants to play in Vancouver, man. Look how they treated Elias Lindholm. They
yeah.
gave what an arm and a leg for the guy, and then he's, oh, is he getting traded? It's like, guys, this is not what you do, right? You picked up this guy
Yeah.
for a reason,
Yeah.
and you don't really flip that kind of style player. He scored 40 goals. What? Yeah, 3 years ago, he had 42 goals and 40 assists for 82 points. He's a Selkie kind of guy. He's who you need in your lineup, right? I'm not the biggest fan
Yeah.
of the Swedes. They don't normally play with that same level of intensity as our North American boys because
Yeah.
they kind
And
of
the
always
Canucks
just
love
dream of
their
the gold
Swedes,
medal.
man.
Yeah, they love their Swedes, and hey, that's okay as well. I like Elias Pettersson. He's nice. He's a great
Yeah.
player, and
Yeah.
they do have the pieces, but do they have that X factor? Do they have that Nathan McKinnon? And that's
Yeah.
what I think we'll find out this playoffs. I think we'll learn a lot about this team round one. Um, right now it looks like they'll probably play Vegas, and they are going to be sons of bitches to play against. They really will be.
Yeah, I don't want Vegas, I'll tell you that right now.
If I'm a Canucks fan, I don't want them either because, Stone will be back in the lineup. I'm sure they have some other fake injuries. I mean, real injuries.
Yeah.
But but and then looking next in that division, you got Edmonton, man, and they are flying right now.
They're humming. They're
Seven
humming.
two and one in their last 10. McDavid
Yeah.
all of a sudden was starting to eat his Wheatios, or he was finally tired of seeing Nathan leading the league, and he is just buzzing out there.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to be the fourth player in history to hit 100 assists in a season.
Oh man.
The
Just have
other
a
three to
player
do
like
it?
that. No, I don't. Enlighten me, please.
We got a hot fact for you. So, Wayne Gretzky, the great one, 99, Magic Mario, 66, and Bob Orr are the only players to hit 100 assists in a season. So, he could become the fourth one to do it. That would
Can you do
be,
it?
oh, I mean, he's got 81 in 62 games played. I think he's missed a couple. So, Edmonton has 64 games played. Does he do it? Yeah, I think he does. This guy is rewriting the history books for what a superstar in today's NHL is. He is unbelievable to watch. It is, the modern day Wayne Gretzky, and that's the best way to put it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right. And it's kind of cool,
Yeah, I mean,
getting to witness this. And, it's kind of like maybe if Sidney Crosby never got injured, is this what his career would have been like? So it's just kind of cool to think about that, because Sid was such a dynamic goal scorer when he came into the league.
oh, 100%. 100%. It's just too bad. Sidney Crosby, I mean, I think it was, you know, they were saying like he's had so many concussions, man. Like,
Yeah,
they
he
were saying
has.
concussions away from, actual little brain damage and but I'm just happy to see, a player like that in our generation. It's just glad to watch. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and great point with all the concussions in it. And it's crazy to see the resiliency of this guy where he's won the Stanley Cups, he's won a World Cup, he's won Olympic medals, and he has all the fire in the world to keep playing and just keep doing his thing, right? And for maybe younger fans or anybody looking to be inspired, that hey, just because you get injured doesn't mean it's over, right? And
Right.
the guy's done everything and he continues to do it. And I think he's
Yeah.
going to do another season of point per game, which I think would tie Gretzky, or he's a couple seasons behind. But, just to be even in that name category as Gretzky is unbelievable. So
Oh,
I,
100%.
I love the way he's playing. He's 36. He's getting older, but he's not even slowing down. He's turning into that Stevie Yzerman kind of
So
captain.
what's going to happen now? Because Pittsburgh are pretty much, done, right?
So,
The good years are behind them. I think they're
yeah,
transitioning into a, rebuild. Um,
yeah,
I
I
don't know how
think
much. I don't know how much longer he's got left on his contract.
Sidney Crosby's contract probably ends in, well, let's see, next year,
There you go.
2024-25. Does he rejoin his Nova Scotia boy, the Nate Dog? I would. Could you imagine them on a team?
Oh, that'd be
Sid's not a first line guy anymore, and that's
no.
okay. I don't think they need him to be. But that piece of shit shut down center as a second liner who can still score 30 goals a year,
Yeah,
and your first line with Nathan McKinnon, holy smokes, right? How do you
yeah,
stop? You would not stop that team with Kale McCarr, Val Nikushkin. They just have such honey badgers on that team where, God, they could do 65 wins, I think, with Crosby. Is that
yeah.
crazy? Yeah, this is what this podcast is, Clint. It's hot takes.
It's all about the hot takes.
Yeah. So, I mean, what other teams kind of standing out to you right now?
You know what's funny? I was watching earlier today. I was watching the Rangers,
Hmm.
and they were up 2-0,
Yeah.
and Tampa just came back, man. Ended up
Tampa. Yeah.
6-3.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know, man. What about Toronto? Maybe Toronto? I don't know. Austin Matthews, man, he's scoring
55
goals.
goals,
I'm
not a big
liking it,
deal.
man.
Hey, Poppy's back. He's kind of gone a little
No,
cold, but you know what? Don't need to be spicy all season, and
no, you don't, man. And you just got to turn it up at the right time.
and that's a thing.
Um,
That's where teams win cups is when they're all buzzing.
yeah. I mean, Florida looks good. I mean, Carolina.
The East
I don't
is
know,
just
man.
such a. You know what? The whole league is a question mark right now. Like Florida, I'm not a big Florida Panthers guy. I just think they're pretenders right now. Yeah, they went on the run last year. They got a good team, but I don't know. Something's telling me they're not legit. That's
Pretender.
I think
Is
they're
that what you're saying?
pretenders. That I'm saying they're a pretender. People may say I'm crazy, I'm insane because they got Tarasenko. That guy's a lazy player. I just don't see it with him. Sure, he scored 40 in St. Louis, but this
Yeah.
is now his third or fourth team. He's eventually losing motivation. He's already won the cup. Matthew
Yeah.
Kachuk, is he going to stay healthy? He's the heartbeat of that team. Uh, you
Yeah.
know, Bobrovsky, I'm not a Bobrovsky guy. I've seen him play like an absolute plug and then decided last year he was going to go goated mode on the Leafs. Suck it, Bobrovsky. Pretenders, man. I don't
Yeah, I
like
mean,
him.
you even saw him in the Stanley Cup Finals last year. Like you said, they just ran. It looked like they just ran out of steam. Um, it took all everything to get there, and then
Yeah,
Vegas
and
just looked
Vegas looked
way
unstoppable.
better than they did. I don't know if it was just because tired legs. I don't know, fatigue, that kind of thing.
Well, look how
Uh,
big the Vegas Golden Knights are. Their team is full of mutants, right? And
yeah,
especially in playoffs, man, it's such a tight checking game where every inch of ice is battled for, and you have all these big players, grinding up on the wall with shorter guys. It is gonna wear on the body, and psychologically, I think you're gonna back down a bit. Oh, I
yeah,
can't take the hit the same way I can. Already cracked a rib, I can't break it now, right? So I think there's a
yeah,
lot of mental warfare that does go in the playoffs. Florida pretenders to me. I just don't see them doing it.
Yeah. What about Dallas, man? What do you think about Dallas?
Dallas. Oh, I don't know what to make of Dallas. I think the past few seasons they've had good teams, they've had good seasons, but I'm gonna go in the category of pretenders. I don't think this is their time. I like a couple of their guys. I think Jason Robertson's had an awful year in for what his production was a couple seasons ago and even last year. Joe Pavelski, an absolute stallion on the ice. He's getting older. How much more left in the tank does he have? He'd be a
Yeah.
guy I'd love to see win a cup. But,
Yeah.
Dallas, they lost last year in the third round, right, to Vegas.
Yeah.
They've kind of been there. They went to a Stanley Cup final. Granted, it was in the bubble. I just don't think they're that team. I think Jake Ottinger, he's young. I think he could be good moving forward, but I just don't think they have that X factor. Kind of almost in the same category as the Canucks, right? Very similar pieces. You just don't have that X factor.
That difference maker.
Yeah, that
Yeah, I
difference
mean
maker.
it's tough to disagree. What about Boston?
The Bastion Bruins. Oh,
Your
God.
nightmare team.
The nightmare team. Are they. Which Boston are we going to get? We don't have Patrice Bergeron. I mean, I hate going against. I always love going against them, but they always bite me in the ass. Is the problem.
Yeah.
I think they're contenders. I think they got good pieces. David Pastrnak is so good at hockey. Like it's unfair to watch him play
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just, stick handles. He knows what he's doing. They got two unbelievable goalies that either one of them could
That
win
they
you a cup.
managed to keep.
Well, Allmark ninced a trade out to LA. He didn't want to go.
Yeah. Yeah, he wanted to stay, man. You could see it too. I saw this little clip and uh you know, they were just kind of Jeremy Swayman was kind of heading over to Hallmark and they were just kind of, celebrating, saying, you're staying. And then they just kind of, hugged it out. And it was, I don't really give a shit about the Boston Bruins,
But it's a
got
brotherhood, right?
got a little bit of PSD from that team. But I like seeing that. I don't know. It was the two goaltenders, kind of just hugging it out, and it was kind of you can tell it was emotional, right? Like Yulmark didn't want to leave,
Yeah,
and
and why would you want to
ended up
leave?
in. No, I 100% agree.
You're on a playoff team, and you know what? As you said, they're boys. And
They're
that's
boys, exactly, and you could totally see that. I mean, as much as I hate the Boston Bruins, I love that kind of stuff. That's just
and that's what makes sports great, isn't it? It's the brotherhood, it's the friendships that you get to see on and off the ice. And these guys are battling every night for their job, right? And I think that strengthens the bond. Like these two warriors are constantly competing with each other, and that respect of the position. It's awesome to see. But as we said, we hate the Bruins, so it sucks to say nice things about them.
it
But
does.
they're not the
It
Bruins
does.
of old, right? They don't have those pieces of shit on the team anymore. They got Marchand, but that's really
They got
kind of
one. I was
it.
gonna say,
Their slewfoot licking captain.
yeah,
Oh man, and you know who else is looking dangerous all of a sudden is Carolina.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
they are.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're in the Cup final. These guys are the real deal. They're contenders. And the pickups they made at the deadline were phenomenal for them. They finally showed their fans they're ready to commit to a win. And
Yep,
apparently their owner was notorious for being cheap. So it's cool to see, and like they gave up no top prospects either.
yep,
So, Kyle Dubas or Kyle Dumbass, whatever you want to call him, depends how you view him,
yep,
got
yep.
fleeced. So, see you later. Toronto doesn't miss you. Go enjoy all your old Sault Ste. Marie or Sault Ste. Hounds. Keep the change.
Keep the
We'll,
change. I
we'll
love it.
keep it. We don't want it. We ain't calling you back, Kyle. You take Spets as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and the Leafs, Cup favorites as usual. I think Matthews is easily popping 30 in the playoffs.
Popping 30 in the playoffs.
Popping
Jeez.
30. Poppy is popping goals left, right, and center. And I think Willie is going to look so good just with the flow in the playoffs. And then you got little Mitch. He's a little quieter this year, and he's just going to be a stud. The Leafs are going to win the cup. I'm a firm believer in that. Ilya Samsonov is going to eat his Wheatios, and he's going to be what Bobrovsky was last year.
So let's just say hypothetically,
Yeah.
the Toronto Maple Leafs go, I don't know, get knocked out first round, second round. Do you fire the coach?
Yeah, I think he's done. I think you have the
His
team, you
job's on
have
the line
players.
this season.
I think it has to be. I think there needs to be some sort of repercussion because how many more years of mediocrity do you go through? It's not going to happen. He's going to have a great job because they'll win this year. But, by the off chance, he's gone. There's maybe they bring Babcock in. Maybe Mitch
Oh
Marner needs some
gosh.
more mental warfare.
Jeez.
Jeez, talk about a hot take. See you
Yeah,
later.
just hand over the phone passwords, why don't you?
Yeah. Hey, let me see your girl's phone too, just to make sure nothing fishy's going on. Hey, your mom's calling. Let me talk to her. Yeah, thanks there,
Yeah.
Babcock, you rat.
Jesus Christ.
Jeez, what a shit show that was. The poor rookies. He hated the rookies for whatever reason.
Yeah, I always find that was kind of odd.
Yeah, but he's an old style coach, right? But I don't know. I feel like you do have to change your coaching style for the age of players. Like as much shit as everyone gives Tortorella, he's a great coach,
Yeah.
right? Well, I mean,
Yeah.
everywhere he's gone, he's had success. Columbus, he really changed the culture there, and they won a playoff round. They or a play-in round against Toronto. Thanks a lot,
Yeah.
guys. They knocked off the 65 win team Tampa Bay in a sweep.
Yeah.
Right? He's won a Stanley Cup in with Tampa, and now he's in
Yeah. I
Philadelphia.
remember that. I remember that. That was what, 2004? It was against
2004. Yeah.
Calgary. It was against Calgary. It was against Calgary.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
I remember
mean,
that.
so it just shows like, yeah, you can be a bit of a hard ass or hard nosed coach, but still have the respect of your players, right? Everybody says they
100%.
love playing for Torts, like, and he gives me the vibe that he if he respects you, he will go to war for you. Just like where he got fined, what was it, $50,000 and 2 games for not leaving the bench because he didn't want to leave the boys,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And that is a coach that players respect and they want to play for.
100%. It's all heart, man. You got a guy that's,
And you want to
you
go to
love the
bat
guy,
for
you're
these
gonna want to do
guys.
well for him, man. That's just how it is. I couldn't believe
Absolutely.
it. He just the whole conversation. I don't know if you can like read the lips, do the lip reading, but he was like, "No, you go.
Yeah, he
I'm
was not
staying."
having it. Yeah, he's like, I'm staying. And yeah, it's unreal that they just said no. And like these refs these days don't give a shit. They don't want to hear a coach. Granted,
Yeah.
they've probably been abused in minor hockey by nut job parents, but
Yeah.
it,
Gosh.
it is interesting, right? Like, the refs really don't have to answer for any of their actions. They just kind of do whatever they want. And I guess they just have to follow the script, right?
Yeah.
NHL confirmed is scripted.
100%. Yeah. You think so?
No, I can't be there. It's so unpredictable, the game. I do think that refs can play a factor in it, right? Because they can't control how the game's played, how it's, just in general how it is. They can
Yeah.
dictate the style of play, is what I should say. And and
Yeah.
everyone will always have controversies behind it, whether it's legit or not. I like to think it's real. It's not the NFL. Sorry, guys.
Oh, 100%. NFL is scripted 100%.
Oh man, Taylor Swift's team wins. Great.
Yeah,
Oh, geez, Clint, unreal.
100%.
But
She's got the same. She'll have the same amount as Super Bowl rings as Aaron Rodgers will have.
she's already got the one.
Yeah,
She'll get two next year. She'll
yeah,
see to
probably.
it.
Yeah.
So I also wanted to pick your brain on what do you think, Clint, about Washington? Are they making the playoffs this year?
I'm gonna go with. I mean, I gotta look at their schedule too.
Yeah, I mean, Ovechkin's had a really
Getting
slow
ranked.
year for his standards as well. He's only got 18 goals.
Yeah, and the other thing too is he ever gonna catch Gretzky, or I mean, is it just kind of gonna kind of fizzle out from here?
So wow. He is projected to finish with 23 goals this year. I think that would be his lowest total of his career. Let's see. 23. 24, but that was in the shortened season for COVID. Yeah, I don't think he can do it, man. And it sucks too because I think he could have broken it, right? But he's dealt with two lockouts the COVID year, you know.
Yeah, that didn't do him any favors. But in
So,
terms of Washington, 64 games played,
yeah.
69 points. Detroit is ahead of them,
Ugh,
72
Detroit
points
sucks.
with two more games played. Yeah.
I mean, they
And
can't win a
then the
game.
Islanders, yeah. And then you got the Islanders with 72 points as well, with 65 games played. So maybe, I mean,
I, they're not out of it, but they suck on the road. 13, 15, and 4, dude. You're not making the playoffs if you can't win on the road.
can't win on the road.
So, Ovechkin, at the same time, he's the heartbeat of that team. He really is. And when he's not scoring, the team's not scoring. They're having a really slow year. And he's 54 goals away from the great one. And to circle back to what we had initially said, if he hadn't missed, let's call it 100 games from lockouts and the COVID season, this guy would have broken the record, I think, already.
Yeah, how many lockouts? Was it two lockouts?
So he had one full lockout, 2004 to 2005. Then they had the half season lockout in 2012 to
Halves.
2013.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I
And
remember
then the
now. Yeah.
COVID season, he played 45 games. So, I think he'd be there. You give him another, fuck, even at the minimum. So he has 840 goals in 1,400 games. That's at about a 6 or 0.6 goals per game pace, roughly. Okay,
Yeah,
that's another 60 goals. He's at 900, right?
yeah,
But that's hockey, man. There's unpredictability in it. So, same with Crosby getting injured, right? Where would he be
yeah,
at total points? But what can you do? What can you do? You can suck like Detroit, losing seven in a row. Wow, they were in a playoff spot for
yeah.
a while,
They were. They were.
and then they lose their
Who do they play
captain.
next? Oh, they play Saturday against the Sabres.
Well, that'll be another loss. They lost 7-3 to the Sabres the other night.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, and they lost to fucking Arizona the last game 4-1.
So now, but Buffalo's kind of humming now. They do have a few extra games in hand,
Yeah.
but I mean, they're fucking sniffing it too. The way the
Yeah.
Islanders, I think Philadelphia's pretty much secured their spot. You know, I think they'll finish seven or eight. So I think it's that eight spot that they're fighting for. It's between New York, Detroit, Washington, and Buffalo.
Buffalo,
It
yeah.
is such a race right now for that last spot. It's crazy to see.
Yeah, and Buffalo got a little 3-game winning streak going on too, so,
Yeah,
maybe they can build on that.
they're looking good. They got such a good defensive unit now because they picked up
Yeah.
Bowen Byram at the deadline, and I'm a big fan of that guy. Got the privilege to
Yeah.
watch him play for the WHL Giants throughout the whole playoffs on their big run. That guy
Yeah.
can command a game. So I'm really happy he landed there. I thought it was a little peculiar because Rasmus Dahlin is there and he is their number one defenseman. And they're and Owen Power, Dahlin, and him are all left-handed. So
Yeah.
A little bit weird, but I'm also not a GM, so what do I know? You know, the kids got heart and passion, so I love to see it. I'd love to see Buffalo in there. They got a cool team. They got the
Yep.
workhorse from Whitehorse and Dylan Cousins. He's an absolute stud too. So if they make it, I'd be really happy. If Detroit doesn't make it, I'd be happy. Not a big Detroit guy because Patrick Kane went there, and you know, should have stayed in Chicago.
Yeah, gosh.
Yeah. And who else are we looking at, Clint? Is there any other teams that you have thoughts on?
Um, oh, I mean, Colorado's up there too. Winnipeg Jets. What's going on with the
Pretenders.
Winnipeg Jets?
Pretenders, that's a team.
Pretenders.
Yeah, they're not a good team, man. They're I think they're weak. The Canucks, didn't they pump them? Like four
I
one,
believe
4-0.
it was 5-0, I think, or something.
Yeah, like they got chick. Yeah, 5-0. Nice memory. Um,
Yeah.
Pretenders, man. I don't think they're there. Apparently, a team within the Central Division had a player. Uh, you know, my source, the Spittin' Chicklets, amazing podcast. Apparently, someone in that division also called them pretenders. They're not the real deal. So I don't think they are, man. I mean, they picked up Tyler Toffoli. He's cool.
God, I feel like that guy's just fucking a fucking suitcase.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's almost played for every Canadian team. He's got three more on the list.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
that's
think they're
right.
pretenders. They're going to lose first round. They don't. They don't scare me if any team facing them. Because as
Yeah.
of right now, they play the Dallas Stars. Well, that might be a good playoff, actually.
That's a game 7 right there, I think.
That's a game
But,
seven. I think they will. So, but they do have 2 and 3 games on hand on Colorado and Dallas, respectively.
yeah.
So I could see them finishing first and having, you know, Nashville, who would take them out, I think, in 6 games.
Yeah.
They just don't scare me. I think, yeah, I just think they're a bit of pretenders as well. But you know who
That's
could,
fair.
yeah, but I think who could also go on a run is Nashville. They have been spicy as of late.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. They are holding that first wild card spot.
yeah, they are, and they are 8-0-2 in their last 10. I think they have a 17 game point streak going on.
Jesus Christ.
Right? So they're buzzing. They're having a great time there in Music City.
Yeah, and you know, I'm just looking here at the standings too. I mean, the next team that's sitting outside of the wild card spot, the St. Louis Blues at 71 points.
Yeah, and Minnesota's there. I think
Minnesota's at 73. Yeah.
it's just such a battle, I think, for them to catch them. Like Minnesota, even at 2 extra games played, they're pretty far out. But
Yeah.
nothing's impossible. Yeah, Minnesota doesn't scare me. They don't really have the talent this year. I think that Parise and Suter contract is really hurting them still,
Yeah.
just with the cap retention or the buyout penalty, pardon me. St. Louis, what happened to those guys, man? Jordan Kyrou, what a pretender. Like he's not him, bro.
He's not that guy.
Didn't he get paid a shit ton of money as well?
I think so, yeah. I think
Jordan
you're right.
Kyrou, let's see what this little bum's up to. Yeah, so he got paid 8.125 million for like the next 6 years.
Jeez.
And
Lovely.
he's got 48 points in 66 games. Pretty average to me. I don't know, like I feel like a lot of teams are just shelling out this money to these young guys and then they just underproduce on their contracts.
Yeah.
You know, but you know who I do like is Robert Thomas. I think he's a bit of a stud. He's kind of just figuring his shit out. He also got paid a big contract, 8.125 as well. But I also
Yeah.
feel like
He's got
that's a
70
guy who
points
could
this
lead.
season.
70 points this season on a not a very good team, right? Like going through their roster, who's their talent? They got Thomas. Some would argue Kyrou. I wouldn't. Like, who's their best offensive defenseman? Torrey Krug, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit lackluster. I do like their player Jake Neighbors. I think
Yep.
I like him. I think he's a good player, but I don't think he's that superstar St. Louis needs him to be,
Yep.
right? And like after that, who else do you got? Brandon Saad. I mean, this guy, he's played in the league for a long time, but he's not the same player. So,
No.
and they're paying him 4.5 mil, right? So all these older guys just don't produce. I don't know. I feel like for 4.5 mil, you should at least get maybe 50, 60 points.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I've played too much
No, I think that's
NHL
reasonable.
24.
No, I
I'm
think that's reasonable.
right. That's what I think too. But that's hockey, man. I think he does what they need. I mean, he's a big minus guy though as well.
Yeah.
-8 on the season. Yikes. Robert Thomas, Nick Leddy are there really only front runners for plus players.
Yeah.
What can you do? Oh, St. Louis. And so we got to ask, I guess, a big question here. Connor Bedard, what do we think?
I think it's too early, man.
Too
Too
early to
early to
say
tell.
what? The tell? Come on, bruh. You
I think
think
it's too early.
you
I think
think it's
it's.
too early to tell how he is as a player?
I mean, he's good. What is he at for this point? What is he at for points this season?
51 and 52.
40, 50, 50, 51?
Mm-hmm. In
Oh, yeah.
52 games. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. And he was hurt too for a bit,
He was
right?
hurt. He's got 7 less games than the next guy on the list, and he's 11 points in front of him.
Yeah.
Connor
On a
Bedard
bum team.
is him. Connor Bedard is a stud. This guy is going to score 70 in the NHL. And that's not even a
When?
hot take. Give him 2 years. Year three, I think he scores 70 goals. I mean, he's got 5 points in his last game. I feel like he's had a ton of multi-point games. He's going to put the end to the curse of the Canadian first overall generational talent not winning the Calder. Bedard is him. And they're going to get his Vancouverite boy, Max Celebrini, as well.
Buddy. I keep forgetting he's 18.
Yeah,
He's a
18
baby,
years
dude.
old, man. I know. He's
What
a
the hell were you
zero.
doing 18 years old?
I was still picking my nose.
Oh, there you go.
I was learning how to tie my skates. That's when I started playing hockey. Started in men's league, NCHL. Turned into
Oh.
a bit of a three-time All-Star. Won a couple championships. Is that good? I don't know. Connor Bedard doesn't have one, so clearly not on the
Oh.
same level as me.
Oh.
Shots fired, Connor.
Yeah,
I'm
you heard
just.
it here first.
You heard it here first. I'm kidding. This guy would walk me, and it would be so embarrassing for me. Like he's fast. He's unreal stick handler. 143 points in 57 WHL games. Unfucking real. On a very mediocre Regina Pats team that year. And
Yeah.
almost beat the number one seed. Oh, I can't remember who it was, but he like willed them into game seven. So he's him. He's going to be a stud. Just like Macklin Celebrini is going to be. I have no doubts in my mind this guy's going to be a stud as well. Have you heard much
Right.
of him?
No, I have not.
So he's 17 years old, playing for BU, 54 points in 32 games, just under a goal per game. So he's the
Jesus Christ.
consensus number one pick, and Chicago's going to get him. So imagine just these two farm animals, Bedard and Celebrini, on the same team. That's going to be a cheat code. Like Chicago's got pieces too, man. They're going to be good in 2 years. They're going to be really good in 2 years.
Are you gonna be hopping off the wagon?
I can't go back
Heading
on it. They
back to
had a.
Chicago?
I can't. I can't. They're a scummy franchise, unfortunately, just covering up the whole Kyle Beach incident.
Yeah.
Just something feels a little wrong. Do I think they deserve Bedard after that? Absolutely not. I feel like they should have had a forfeit the first overall and drop down to maybe fourth or fifth that season.
Yeah.
Um, but original six franchise, one of the biggest markets in America. Not surprised they didn't. I feel like if it was Arizona or God, almost any other team, they would have had to lose that pick. So But maybe I'm wrong. I don't think so though. But I also I just like their team. They're full of young guys. I think they'll just be fun to watch coming up.
Yep.
But that's hockey, man. It sucks, but that's hockey.
Yeah.
You know who else is stunk is San Jose.
Oh my gosh.
They are bad.
Garbage.
16-42-7.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that's bad.
They're not a good team whatsoever.
Jeez. Would you play for San Jose if they invited you?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. So they're not bad enough for you to say no. Okay. Good to know.
To be fair, I would accept any invite.
Yeah. Hey, I'll say, hey, you know what? Pick me up and I'll be a big team morale guy. The
Yeah.
boys
I'll
aren't
be the
having
guy to
fun
pick
on
up
the
your run.
bench. Hey, you guys need me to open the gate, I'll do it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so I think they'll be I think they're far, far, far away from getting good though.
Yeah.
I feel like they don't really have much. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, yeah, I think they just have nothing.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
going to be some dark days in San Jose, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it's crazy like just how fast I feel like they fell from fame, right? Where they were those scumbags to play against. They were always so good, that kind of piss and vinegar hockey.
Yeah.
And now they're kind of like, oh, scratch your bellies, you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
Ah,
Canucks
but
will still lose to him though.
it's the Canucks, man. They're inconsistent. They're pretenders. Unfortunately for you, they're not going to make it too deep. They're a round two team this year if they can get past Vegas.
I would say round two. I'm not going to get my hopes up. I never do with those guys.
You can't because they always decide to let their fans down. But
Yep.
hey, that's Canucks hockey, right?
It is Canucks hockey. I'm hoping it changes very soon. I'm hoping in my lifetime at least. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, would it be cool to see the city you live in win? Absolutely, but not with Gary Bettman as the commissioner.
GM,
He
yeah.
won't let it
Or
happen.
sorry, commissioner.
But, yeah, I don't know. But I think, is there anything else in the NHL stuff you want to go over, or is it time to head over to the Europa League?
I mean, I think I'm good, man.
All right. So just feel free to tell me to shove it up my hoop. And you
How's
know
it up your
why?
hoop?
Fucking Benfica, bro. Pieces. Just losers. I don't know how we lose
Hey,
to.
hey, the only Portuguese team left in Europe. There's
How do we
nobody
lose
else.
to this team? I've never even heard them. Atlanta or Alatana?
Atalanta.
Who,
You know what?
where are
They're
these guys
always
from?
kind of Italy.
Fuck off. Italy. These
Fifth place,
Italians,
baby. Fifth
bro.
place Italian team. They're always one of those teams that's kind of annoying. They're kind
Ugh.
of good, but not like, they can win a Europa League for sure. But I mean, they're like a round 16 team in the Champions League.
Just
But
so heartbreaking.
yeah, and they were leading in that game too.
Yep. I know I was looking at my
So
phone at lunchtime, like, this is sick, we're gonna do it.
yeah.
But Sporting doesn't like me.
Hey man, you
I
guys got
don't,
the league. You guys got the league looking pretty good in the league.
yeah. Hey, Benfica, who?
Yeah.
No, just
But
can't wait.
yeah, this week we had finished the round of 16 Champions League matches. So we had Manchester United,
Hmm.
sorry, Manchester United. Ha, yeah,
Yeah.
right. We had
Hey,
Manchester
Conference League.
City 6-2 against Copenhagen on aggregate, and then we had Real Madrid against RB Leipzig, and that was 2-1 on aggregate, and then PSG put away Real Sociedad 4-1, and then
Yeah.
Bayern Munich, man, 3-1 against Lazio, and Bayern Munich, it's been an interesting season for them because
They're
they
just
got their
not there
guy
right now.
Thomas Tuchel, who they fired their coach last season,
That's right.
midway through the season, when they were still in contention for the Bundesliga. They were still in the Champions League, and I think they were still in the League Cup, and then brought in Thomas Tuchel, and then got knocked out of all three, pretty much.
Karma.
But they did win the Bundesliga on the final day, which was could have gone either way.
Didn't they play Borussia that day?
So Borussia Dortmund played the same time as Bayern Munich, and I
That's
had
right.
kind of both games on, and it went back and forth.
Yeah,
It
that's
went
right.
back and forth, and then Dortmund kind of like screwed up at the end, and then Bayern Munich won. Um, but yeah, and then we had Athletic Madrid and Inter, which went into a penalty shootout, and Athletic Madrid took that. Borussia Dortmund beat PSV 3-1 on aggregate, and then Porto and Arsenal, which is another one that went into penalties.
Oh,
Did you end up catching the penalties?
I just saw Porto lost. I was really upset.
Yeah, so I watched the penalty shootout, and
What do we think?
so Porto's keeper was also the Portuguese national team keeper. Did not look like he was going to save a penalty, even if his fucking life depended on it.
Patricia?
Diogo Costa.
No, really, Costa.
Just guess wrong. There was no
Oh,
confidence that
oh,
I saw. Yeah. So Arsenal took that one, and then Barcelona the 4-2. So we got our quarterfinal team set, and the draw is tomorrow. So it'll
so
be interesting to
what are
see
your
what teams are
predictions? What
matched up.
matchups
In
would you
terms of,
like to see?
I would like to see, I think, a Manchester City and a Real Madrid.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Honestly, man, these are all good teams, man. Like I honestly, I wouldn't be upset about any of these ones, man.
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be really good. I almost want to see an El Clasico.
An El Clasico, or you could even have Bayern Munich against Dortmund.
I mean, is there the storyline there? I think we could see it. Maybe then we do Man City versus Arsenal, and then kind of the throwaway teams, I guess, this year, PSG and Atletico, as crazy as that is to say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think PSG can get it done. I don't think Athletic Madrid can get it done. I'm thinking, either Real Madrid or Manchester City can probably win this thing. I think those would be the two obvious favorites. But then
Yeah,
again,
those
it is
are
Champions League
horses.
football, so that being said, anything can happen. I don't think Barcelona are good enough to win the Champions League this year. Um,
I don't think so. They're just too young
yeah,
still.
yeah, and I don't know. Xavi can't get them going. But I mean, you never know, man. I mean, they don't have. I don't think they're going to win the league. Real Madrid look pretty comfortable.
Oh yeah, they're
Um,
hanging out.
sometimes that can work in a team's favor because I mean that's the only thing you have left to really focus on.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, I mean, like I said, Real and Manchester City. I mean, you can't bet against those guys. I mean, they've just been
They've just
good all
dominated.
season, most consistent. But yeah, and then we got the Europa League.
Ugh,
Um,
I don't want to look at that. I can't do.
so Atalanta beat Sporting 3-2. Liverpool 11-2 on aggregate.
I like that one.
Roma beat Brighton. There you go. You still got a team in it. You got Liverpool. You got your boy.
Yeah, but it's not Sporting. You had the
It's not
Portuguese
Sporting.
pride.
Yep. And then you got Leverkusen. I don't know if you know what's going on with Leverkusen
They
this
are
year, but
running the Bundesliga. They are fucking warriors this year. They're just.
37 unbeaten matches.
I,
37.
I asked this seriously. Have they been tested for personal enhancement drugs,
Oh
PED tests?
gosh. They're
Because
humming.
that's weird to me. Because they're not like a big club, are they?
I mean, they're definitely like the top table German team, I would think. And today they were losing 2-0
Yeah.
and back and they won 3-2. And I mean,
Jeez.
the last goal was scored. They had two goals scored in injury time, so it just goes to show you how strong and this team's not willing to give up. So they did win 5-4 on aggregate,
Wow.
and are also 10 points clear of Bayern in the Bundesliga.
Isn't that crazy? And Byron, I feel like made a monster move picking up Harry Kane just for kind of
Yeah,
like,
you know, feel for the guy too because he left Tottenham to go win
yeah,
trophies, and
it's his luck.
I think, yeah, yeah, Bayern have won. I don't know how many Bundesligas they've won in a row, and this looks like the first year that they're going to lose it.
Yep, I saw
But
that. Wasn't it like 10 years in a row or something?
yeah,
Maybe not
something like
exactly 10.
that. And but you know what? He's going to win probably the Golden Boot in that league. He's got. I'm pretty sure he's going to be close to over 30. I would think. Let me just fact check that here for a sec. So he's played in the Bundesliga 25 matches, 30 goals.
Oh, wow.
That's just in the Bundesliga. So he's having a good year there. Um, but, not going to win the league.
But it's Harry Kane. He's not going to win a trophy.
Oh, man, you got to feel for the guy.
Do you think he would go down as the greatest player to never win a trophy?
No, I feel like there would be.
To win
See,
any trophy.
so
He's not won any, right?
I don't think so. He's never won the Premier League for sure. In my lifetime, I've never seen Tottenham. Tottenham, you know what? They could have won the Champions League a few years ago, and they played your boys, Liverpool, and then it was actually probably one of the most boring Champions League finals I've ever seen.
I mean, we're playing Tottenham. What do you expect? These guys have no passion.
No passion. And then you had Benfica win today,
Ah,
3-2
F
on
Benfica,
aggregate.
man. Yeah.
Man,
You want to
that's
talk
it,
about a
man.
boring game? 1-0.
Hey, you know what? That's the only team that's gonna bring the
Portugal
coefficient up
side.
this year, man. You
How's our
know,
coefficient
You're-
looking this year?
I think we're still behind uh,
Let's see. I'm pulling this up.
Netherlands. I think.
Oh, God, really? I hate that.
Yep.
I hate that. Full standings. How is France still up there? I'd like to know. Wow.
Yeah, and I think
So,
Russia's ahead of us too.
so for this year, we have England as number one, Spain, Italy, Germany, France, Netherlands, and Portugal.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Belgium is catching up on us.
Yeah,
We're
man.
at 55.482 and they're 46.8.
And then who's below Belgium?
Pardon?
Who's below Belgium?
Turkey.
Turkey. Yeah.
And then Scotland, shockingly, is number 10.
Yeah.
Would not have guessed that. That's funny.
Yeah, and then you have West Ham who won today, and then they're 5-1 on aggregate, and then Milan, AC Milan, who won 7-3 on aggregate. So we have our teams for
Yeah.
the round of the Europa League.
Now who's winning Europa League? Liverpool.
Man, I would say Liverpool or Leverkusen.
Yeah, what so a real possibility Liverpool Leverkusen in the final.
Yeah, I mean, those are two teams that have just, been having a really good season. I mean, Leverkusen pretty much got, I would say, something drastic would have to happen for Leverkusen to,
To
lose
lose.
10 points off the mark, right? I mean, I would say they pretty much got that, under control. The
Yeah.
Premier League, however, is a different story. I can't remember the last time it
Holy
was this
shit.
close.
It
Yeah.
is
So you got
so
Arsenal,
close.
Liverpool, and Man City, which are,
Yep.
I mean, you got Arsenal and Liverpool who are 64 points, and then Man City
1 point
63, and then after
behind.
that you got Aston Villa. Yeah. So
I'm not too worried
I
about Arsenal. I think they're going to choke again. That's kind of what they're known for. Liverpool's taken the league this year. Man City, they could do it, but Holland, we're not getting the same Holland this year. He's a little
no.
he's tired, I think. I think that treble took a lot out of him, poor guy.
Yeah. I mean, you
So,
got a good matchup coming up soon too here. Man City against Arsenal. That's huge. That's the
wow.
end of March, March 31st. That's going to be a huge game. In terms of like who Liverpool are going to be playing. I mean, you got Man City in this week actually. Man United, sorry. Man United. Man United twice still. Actually, that's FA Cup. But you do got Man United down the road. You still got
Man United's
Tottenham.
win.
Man United's a win. Yeah.
They don't scare
Interesting to
me right
see if
now.
they keep their coach this season.
Yeah, who's their coach again that they made a big deal to hire and now he's just a joke?
Eric Ten Hag.
That's right.
So, I mean, there's a lot of good available coaches, I think, coming up this season. You got Xabi Alonso. You got Xabi from Barcelona, who said he's already leaving. Um, I don't think Jurgen Klopp's going to be available just because he says he's going to
Nope.
take a step back.
He'll be done. He won't coach another team,
Um,
which is good.
you got Jose Mourinho, who's currently
Jose,
unemployed.
you see those moves he's
You
got,
got,
man? He's getting a job.
yeah, I mean, he loves coaching in the Premier League.
He
He loves
does.
it.
And he knows how to bust a move.
Yep. And then you got De Zerbi, who is Brighton's coach right now. He's getting a lot of attention as well.
I mean, he's
Um,
really brought them to be a good team, right? Brighton,
yeah,
not normally known for being good, I think,
yeah,
right?
you
And I
know,
mean, they're sitting eighth. Realistically, they could finish sixth.
yeah, yeah.
I, I mean, look,
So,
yeah, it's crazy.
so a couple good coaches on the chopping block this year. So
Who's getting
it'll be
fired?
interesting to see who's getting fired.
Who's getting fired? Who's booted this year? Chelsea's manager?
See with Chelsea, it's
Oh,
it's it's
come
such
on.
a freaking disaster over there. I don't even know where to
They
start.
stink. Fire the coach. They need to drop to the championship division.
You know, they're closer to well, at least a few weeks ago they were closer to regulation than the top four.
I
But
mean, yeah,
man,
they're
what a
still there.
disaster!
What an awful season. I
What a
mean,
disaster! They need strikers, man. They got no one who can score.
who's their best player right now?
Oh God, I don't even think you can name one right now.
Nk- is Nkuku on that team still?
And yep,
Oh, there you go. That's the problem. The
he's
guy
injured.
can't score. Oh, is he? Ah, you don't like hearing
Yep.
that. Well, what about Sterling? He was supposed to be a bit of a stud.
I always thought Sterling was a little bit overrated, but that's just me.
I heard that too, but I heard he was a stud. So I got to take it at face value. It looks like he was pretty
I mean,
decent at City.
yeah, I mean he's got 6 goals this season in terms of the Premier League, so
Yeah.
not great. 25 matches played. I've never really liked him, but that's just me.
Would you say you're disappointed in his production?
Yes,
That's fair.
I
So
would.
Chelsea's coach is gonna get he's Gonzo Alonso. Do you think Jose Mourinho would be open to coaching there?
Chelsea? I mean, probably it'd be a third time there.
His third time? Are you serious?
Yeah,
Could you imagine? Maybe he'll bring
but I don't.
our boy Ramos over from PSG.
Oh yeah, if only.
Bring a
I
nice.
don't think he would do good in the Premier League.
Why?
It's way more physical, man.
He's a
It's
pretty
probably
good
the most
guy.
one of the most physical leagues in Europe, I would say, is the
Man,
Premier League.
it's a tough league. Just like these men are battling game in, game out.
It's
It is
entertaining,
scary.
that's for sure. That's what I love about the Premier League. That's why I love watching it. It's just entertainment.
It's the
I
best.
don't. I get the most entertainment out of watching the Premier League. I would say most of the world does, but you know,
Yeah, I think in terms of overall entertainment, they're so far above any other league, right? Like number two league is La Liga. And
yeah. I mean,
it's just too much
back a few
diving.
years ago, yeah, oh, yeah, 100%. But you could argue that back in the day, a mid-table, or I wouldn't say mid-table, I would say maybe like I don't know, sixth or fifth place team. Let's say maybe I don't know, 10 years ago, could probably beat a first, second place team in the Premier League.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
And
There,
now it's just kind of
I used to
changed.
watch a lot of La Liga just back in the day when you had, Messi and Ronaldo,
Ronaldo,
just,
CR7.
stars of that league. But yeah, man. Did you end up catching the Adidas released some jerseys? I don't know if you saw for the Euro,
Okay, I'm
but
gonna pull this up.
Adidas released some. What's that?
I'm gonna pull these up. Keep going.
There's some clean kits on there, man. I'm really liking Italian jerseys. I thought they were really nice.
Who? Sorry.
Germany's is fire. Italy's, but Germany's is fire.
Let's see. Ooh, Germany's is clean. Which one of Germany's did you like? The purple one or the white one?
I like the white one.
Yeah.
I'm getting 20. Let's see. I'll show you here. I'm getting 2020 or 2006 vibes
From
from the
Germany.
World Cup from Germany. I'm getting that. I'm getting the same. Just kind of how the kit looks. It's got like the black that comes like kind of like circular on the bottom of the kit.
Ooh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then they got their pink kit, but
Ooh,
I like
that is
their home
nice.
kit. Their home kit is just so clean. And then
Yeah.
really liked the Italian away kit,
Italy
which
away.
kind of like the same kind of style, which is it's a white kit and then it's got some blue red trim there.
Yeah, it's definitely cute, isn't it?
Yeah.
How's our
And
boys
then
Portugal look?
so they're Nike. So they got
Oh.
I've seen their away jerseys and they are disgusting.
No, don't say that. Really?
Yeah. I do not like them whatsoever.
Oh
It's
my
like
God. What is
it looks like a
this?
tablecloth or something. Like I don't get it. I don't know what Nike was trying to do there.
Oh wow, we're not gonna win.
You know what I
That
mean? Like what is
is what the fuck is that? Wow, I like the pictures don't even want to come up.
yeah, and
This
then
is not a nice
the
jersey. Wow.
no no, and then I think they're going with just like the regular red
They
with like
have to,
black
bro.
trim on the home kit. But I think this is the last year that they'll have Nike kits. They just signed a deal with Puma, so Puma will be the supplier of the Portuguese national team kits moving forward.
Ooh, that's good. How do we feel about that?
Ah, man, I don't really wear Puma. I've never really liked Puma kits, but I mean, I don't know. I haven't liked the past few years of Nike kits either. To
Yeah, they've been
be honest
really
with you,
ugly.
I feel like they've been like kind of like mediocre.
Yeah, I can see that.
Um, you know, the Adidas kits this year, I'm very impressed.
They look
Adidas,
good.
they did a good job this year.
You
I
really
think
kind of
with
see that
the kit.
retro style take over again, hey?
Oh, 100%, 100%. I think Belgium had a really nice light blue one. The only thing is, it was their away kit. But the only thing is, I mean, I'd be interested to get your take on this. But how do you feel about uh, like collars on the jersey? You know what I mean? Like a polo shirt
I don't
kind
know,
of
are
thing.
these guys bagging groceries? You know,
That's what I think.
you're playing a
To me,
sport.
I hate them. I hate them. I think
Yeah,
it drives me nuts.
yeah, Trevor, or sorry, Epic Logic, let's hear a hot take. Hot take, Trevor, you missed it earlier, was Austin Matthews is going to hit 30 Genos in the playoffs. There's your hot take. Hot take number two, Portugal's winning the 2024 Euro Cup with Ronaldo scoring like 10 goals. He's going to carry them for one last ride. What do you think, Clint? Would you agree?
I mean, I'm biased. I would love that.
I think he's going to go out, man. This is the last year. Would you say this is kind of like the last year of their golden generation?
They got depth. That's the one thing I will say about Portugal is they got depth.
They
They have
got
a
depth,
great they got a great team. I'm not really sold on their coach. I know they did really well in qualifying,
but
but I mean, Roberto Martinez, I don't
you
know, man.
but
I,
who
I,
did they play? They played no one good.
oh, they played horrible teams. They played horrible teams, but I've seen Portugal struggle against horrible teams. I can't remember the last time Portugal qualified for a tournament where they
Right
didn't have
away.
to go through the playoff.
Yeah, I agree with
They
that.
always had to go through the playoff. And it's so frustrating because we're so much better than that. We just make it
Yeah.
harder on ourselves,
Hey,
and
that's
then
Portuguese way.
yeah, and then we get put in a crappy pot, and then We play the hardest teams. We're usually, there's a few years we're in the group of death,
Oh, well, you
so.
probably know in our luck, it'll be this year again. For
Oh no, we got a
just
pretty good group
randomly.
this year, if I remember. But
Oh, we got a couple comments, Clint. France is too stacked. England is also stacked. France,
England's scary, I would say,
England doesn't
100%.
scare me. These guys are too worried about their tea and biscuits. You know, Portugal's always played well against England. France, ask them how 2016 went, bud.
Yeah, France is scary too. You got the frog, man. You got the frog, Mbappe.
Their midfield, come on. I mean, we got Cristiano Ronaldo. That's all you really need. We got Bruno Fernandes. We got depth, even though those are the only two players I named right now. Bernardo Silva, Ruben
Don't sleep on
Neves.
Bernard Silva. I was gonna say,
I got
man.
Bernardo. We got João Felix. I
Wrong
think
fat.
Bruno can't even play good for Man U. Yeah, that's true. Um, but in saying that, it is different to play for your country than for a team that maybe you don't want to play for. So we'll find out in June. We'll see Portugal lift up that trophy yet again, and Clint and I will live stream our trip down to Little Portugal. You can take that to the bank as a hot take and a real take. How, how are
Don't
you
forget
feeling?
Spain, dude. Don't forget
Oh,
Spain.
come on. What, we're going to say that tiki taka?
Yeah, man.
God,
I love
Spain,
I
they
love that
can't do it.
style. I love that style.
That's how you
But
play
that's just
FIFA.
me.
I know,
That's
it's
just me.
frustrating as fuck. I hate it. But I think it'll be okay. So, okay, so 12 teams will complete or compete in the playoffs for the final three places at the UEFA Euro 2024. Do you know who the teams are?
Refresh my memory.
So, Path A, we got Poland, Wales, Finland, and Estonia. Path B is Israel. BIH, I'm not entirely sure who that is. Do you know? Bistovia and
What is it?
Hanoi? Yeah, Bistovia and fuck, something else. BIH. Sorry, guys, we're not a well-educated podcast. Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Yeah, that's
So
Portugal
I,
had them in their group.
yeah, so I don't think they're gonna make it too far. Ukraine, they got all of our money, so maybe they got some good players. Iceland. So that finishes up Path B. Then we got Path C with Georgia, Greece, Kazakhstan, and Luxembourg. So our number one
Yes.
commenter is saying Poland for Path A. I'd have to agree with that. For Path A, hey Clint, do you see
Yeah.
any of those teams losing with Lewandowski?
Man, I don't think he's really had a good season at Barca. But, I mean, I would still say they're one of the stronger teams
I
for
think
sure.
they're kind of like that piss and vinegar kind of team, aren't they? Where they can just grind you down. In a way, I feel like they're Portugal's ugly cousin. I feel like they play very similar football. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
That's where I think Portugal's maybe got the flair, and that's why Poland's a little ugly. Um, but moving on, Path B is really wide open for me. I don't know who's good out of these countries. Israel, I mean, we don't even know who BIH is. Ukraine, they're fighting a war. Are they even going to have their best players, or are they on the front line? I'm not sure. And how's
I'm
Iceland?
going Ukraine. I'm going
You're
Ukraine, dude.
going
I'm going
Ukraine?
Ukraine.
Okay, I'm
I'm
gonna
going
go
Ukraine.
Iceland.
Okay, and then I'm going past. See, I'm going Greece.
Oh, really?
I'm going Greece. Yeah,
You're going Greece.
yeah.
I don't know why, but Georgia's speaking to me. Is it their logo? It could be, but I think they
I'm
can
going.
do it.
I'm going Greece. I feel like historically, out of these four teams, Greece has been better. Um, and at least in our generation. I mean, they made me cry before. I'll
Didn't
never
they?
forget.
They beat Portugal, didn't they?
Oh yeah, they beat Portugal twice. The
Oh,
first opening match, they were in the same group, and then they met again in the final. And Greece took the Euro Cup, which was hosted by Portugal that year. So
was it that year? That was
yeah,
2004.
that was 2004. I'll never forget. They beat
No.
everybody, man. They beat France.
Why? That's right.
Oh
They
yeah,
did win. Holy smokes.
yeah, yeah. It
Fuck
was
me. They beat
yeah. I think the first
Portugal
game
1-0
they
in
beat
the
Portugal
final.
twice. Yeah, I can see the goal in my head right now.
Oh
It
my
was a
God.
corner. Ricardo came out and was caught in no man's land, and sure enough, you know, I cried.
Wow.
I cried.
I would cry. I was in Portugal while that whole Euro was going on. Didn't go to a game though.
I mean, I don't even think you really need to. Just being in the streets.
Yeah, well, I was so young, I
Fucking
couldn't really appreciate it, unfortunately, but I wish I could have. I think it would have been really cool. Okay,
yeah.
now we got a fan text, Clint. So Portugal won't beat England or France. That's where you're wrong, friendo. Portugal getting older, and other than Ruben Diaz, their CBs are thin, no depth. That you want to talk about hot fucking takes? That is a hot fucking take.
Well, who? Yeah, I mean, their center backs, what? Ruben Diaz and Pepe. And Pepe, just 41 years old,
I mean,
just played
Pepe's
120
got it.
minutes in the Champions League.
Pepe is a
I mean, he's old, but
workhorse.
he's still, I get it. I get it for sure.
You don't think he's
But
got it
I mean,
anymore?
I just think he's still good enough.
You don't,
But
but
I
you don't
mean,
think he's a
he's
player he
definitely.
once was.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
That scares me a bit because he's the GOAT. So let's see who we have. We got Tot Gomes or Gomes. Never heard of him, have you? He's small. He's 6'2", 159. Antonio
Yeah,
Silva,
tiny
how's
little.
he?
He's not bad. I mean, he did have a better season a few years ago, but still very young, still very green.
I mean, he's 20 years old. Right? He's so young. You know
Yeah.
what? The ESPN doesn't even have Pepe on the line. Wow. Is he done? He must be with the national team. That's sad. It's kind of like, or at least growing up, all the time watching Portugal was always Pepe saving the day.
Yeah.
Gonzalo Inacio. I like him. I think he's pretty good in FIFA. Or sorry, FC 24. Joao Cancelo. He's always nasty. That guy can move. Rafael Guerrero and Joao Mario. Who is this guy? I
Yeah.
thought he
João
played.
Mario plays for
Yeah, he
Porto.
does play for Porto. I was right.
Yep.
I don't know, man. I think Portugal does it. I think they can win. England doesn't scare me. Do they really scare you?
Yes.
Really? Uh-oh.
We do pretty good against England, though. At least the
We
last couple
usually always
tournaments.
beat them, is the
And
thing.
we face them. Same thing with Holland.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like this is Ronaldo. Do you think this is Ronaldo's last kick at the can?
100%.
This is why I think he can lose the World Cup. I don't think he loses this. I feel like that kind of takes away from his legacy.
It's so weird though because he's all the way in the Saudi league. Like, how are you supposed to compare? I mean, he's definitely older.
Well, obviously
I don't
Saudi
even know how
League's
much
number
playing
one.
time he's going to get. If you look at the last World Cup, like he didn't even play,
What a
a full
stupid
90.
decision
He
that
came on as a
was.
sub. You know what though? A lot of Portuguese people think his time is done. He should be on the either on the bench or shouldn't even be on. Well, I guess he can still be on the team, but a lot of people are thinking put someone else in because they play different with Ronaldo there. They play so much different.
Do they force it a
You
lot
gotta
more
you gotta
with
remember we
Ronaldo?
played the
I know.
2016 final with no Ronaldo in the lineup. He played a few couple minutes, got banged up, came out. They
I
played that
know.
final without Ronaldo,
And that's why
and
they
we
didn't
won.
score a goal. That's why it was 0-0
Not in
for
not in not in regular time anyway. But
yeah, oh just that was a penalties win. That's a what a
gosh,
fuck that's the
Saint
Portuguese way to
Saint
win.
Eder. But
Oh.
yeah, I don't know if he doesn't play well in the first game or two. I mean, obviously, depending on the score, man, there's gonna be a lot of people calling, gonna be saying, put this guy on the bench. Maybe he'll come off fresh legs. I don't know, but he's the type of guy that's not gonna want to do that.
Yeah, and you know what?
Man,
I feel like he should at least have an opportunity to play the first game and see how he plays. Because if he plays well, you keep him in there. He's Mr. Portugal to me.
of course.
So, I'm just a Portuguese jock sniffer, and you know that. I mean, for these qualifiers though, he's got 10 goals in 9 games.
Yeah.
I mean, Mbappe, same pace. Lukaku had a really good go, 14 and 8, but I love
Yeah.
my
Our group was
Ronaldo.
just so weak. I'm taking that whole thing with a grain of salt there.
We have
I
to.
mean, our group is pretty good as well. Like, I mean, we got Czech, Turkey, and then whoever's coming out of the playoff
Yeah, it's gonna be
path
strong.
C, which will
It,
be the last game. Um,
yeah,
Again, all those teams very beatable.
I think
Um,
Portugal could do it. I think it just depends on they'll make it out of the group, but who do they play next will be our question. But I
yeah,
mean, in 10 matches, 36 goals for and 2 against. I don't care what the teams are, what teams are in the group, that's still incredible.
yeah,
2 goals against, unreal. But
yeah. Yeah, it was. I think we took clean sheets almost in every single game except for maybe the last two or three. I think it was.
I believe so. And I think they were just putting in like their younger guys. Let's see who even scored against
I don't think
Portugal.
we've ever qualified that fast.
Slovakia scored the only 2 goals against us.
Yeah,
Everything else was an SO. Wow. We're sorry, a clean sheet because this is soccer.
yeah,
But wow. Um, wow. That's all I can say.
yeah.
You
That'll be
got,
interesting. I'm so happy that they're doing. I love. It's just the vibe around having a national tournament in the summer.
oh man, I'm excited
Much
for
as
it. It's gonna be a lot
I
of fun.
enjoyed the World Cup, this past World Cup, it just had a different feel to it. It was in the middle of the winter. Like, it was just weird to me.
Yeah, definitely a different vibe. And it just didn't feel like it was a real World Cup, right? So all those Messi fans out there, Clint confirmed it. You guys didn't really win. So there you go. Maybe you win in the summer, and then we'll talk. There's another hot take for you.
There you go.
Hey, that's why we're hot takes right now, right?
Yep.
But Clint, I think we're getting to the end here. Is there anything else that you can think of? Any hot takes you might have for us?
Oh God, nothing springs to mind right now, man. I mean, gonna be watching a lot of hockey this weekend, maybe some football as well. What are you thinking? What's on your
Uh,
agenda this weekend? Sports.
for this weekend, it is going to be a relaxing weekend. I'm playing a little hockey at ASHL. Maybe play some Apex later, and then I'm going golfing on Sunday, and then just catching hockey in there where I can.
Love it.
What
Love it.
about you? Are you in for a sports-filled weekend?
I mean, apart from the early games on Sunday, man. I mean, few games, whatever. I always like having sports on in the background, even if I'm doing dishes or something like that. But I mean, we got FA Cup this weekend, so I'll be tuning into
Whew.
that. Um, and then yeah, man, that's
We
just
are
about
going
it.
to be buzzing.
I love it.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the very first episode of the Casual Fan Podcast. And we hope to see you, or I guess see/hear you again on here. I think we had some great takes and successful first episode.
I think so.
All right, fans, thank you for tuning in, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.
Bye, guys.